Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Unleash Her panel discussion. Super excited to be here with these amazing women. My name is Hannah Olivas. I'm one of the CEO and founders of She Rises Studios, and I am joined today with some incredible authors from the book Unleash Her. And we are going to do a 45-minute discussion on what it means to unleash her. You're going to hear several different perspectives. There's been some questions that have already been set, and I want to just take some time, give each of the authors a chance to introduce themselves, and then we are going to dive right in. So I'm going to kick it over to Rebecca Chandler. Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be part of She Rises Studios. This is my second book with She Rises. My name is Rebecca Chandler. I own Holistic Finance and Holistic Arizona Healing Ranch in Tucson, Arizona. My chapter in this book is Agent to Act, not Object to React. But in general, I'm so excited about the entire Unstoppable movement, the Unleashing movement. For me, it's been hugely helpful on a very personal level to, one, come to know a lot of the women in the books, but also to ask myself, what is my power? What do I want to grow? And I look forward to talking more about that. But my work personally, I work in finance as a partner in a finance firm here in Tucson. And then my husband is an acupuncturist, and he and I run our healing ranch, where we also homeschool and raise our 12-year-old daughter.
Well, thank you for being here. Let's pass it over to Bella.
Hi, I am Bella Bliss, and I am super excited. This is my first book, and my chapter is Be Seen, Be Heard, Be Limitless. And that is the mantra that I live my life by, and that's the mantra that I teach, because it helps us continue to put ourselves out there and to be understood by being able to communicate clearly, and then live in limitlessness, because we're the only ones who set the limit on ourselves or hold ourselves back from self-limiting beliefs. So my my company is Your Soul Passion, and I am excited about helping divorced women thrive. And I had gone through a 20-year narcissistic marriage and survived that. So I had said to myself that my chapters in the books will be someone else's survival guide. And I hope that everybody, with all of our chapters combined, will have some type of something that really moves them to step into her power and fully become the person that she's meant to be. So thank you so much for having us.
Well, thank you. I'm going to pass it over to Megan.
Hello, my name is Megan Windhorst, and my chapter in the book is called Believe in You. So I'm an intuition coach, and it's just perfect that this book happened and I'm a part of it, because it's just exactly what I'm all about and all that I teach. And so I help women really connect to their own inner knowing so that they can follow their soul's calling confidently. So my company is Megan Nicole Coaching. And I'm just really happy to be here and excited to talk all about unleashing our power.
Well, thank you for joining us. Next up, we have Denise. Maybe.
Denise is, hey, it's Keitha. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Denise is having audio trouble. She can't hear us. So okay. I'm in the chat where they're trying to help her figure it out.
All right. Well, let's have you introduce yourself.
All righty. There you go. So, and I was worried I was going to have audio problems too, because I had switched microphones. So I thought, well, that'll be something, me trying to help somebody else with their audio problems when I'm trying to figure out my own. So anyway, I'm Keitha Landauer. I'm the host of the podcast, The War on Weight. I am super excited to be here and be a part of this book. It's just been an amazing experience. I came into the book as a first time author and have found it just to be a great experience, and with getting to know all the ladies. And I just want to do more than that with the books and everything. And I do. Do y'all hear that? I'm sorry. I don't know what to do.
It's okay.
Oh, now it's gone. Okay. All right. So I think it was somebody was unmuted. All right. So anyway, now that I can think and it was not like swirling in my head, I am so sorry.
You're fine.
That was kind of comical. So anyway, this is the real me. I say all the time, I'm a real person, like just a normal girl trying to figure things out. Well, here it was. It was all this noise. And I was like, oh gosh, I can't think. I don't know what to say. So anyway, my chapter is called Dig Deep. And I challenge our readers to think about, when I think about Unleash Her, is I had to figure out what I had done to bury her to begin with. So I had to, you really don't understand, like, what do you have to unleash her? Well, I felt like I had buried myself. And so that's what I challenge everyone in the chapter to, just to dig a little bit deep.
I love it. I feel like there's so much more to each one of you. So before we continue, this is kind of a moderated thing. So I'm going to ask some questions, and I'm going to give each one of you about 60 seconds to answer. And the whole point of doing these panel discussions is to really give readers and future readers the insight of what Unleash Her is about, but also what your perspective is. You know, that the anthologies that we create is to give everyone a different insight, because somewhere out there, someone's going to align with what you have written and what you have shared in your personal journey. So with that said, thank you so much for all of you joining me today, and for all of our viewers who are watching and who will watch the replay. So my first question I'm going to ask Megan is, what is your definition of unleashing her?
Yeah, so I kind of have a lot for this one because it's like a bunch of different layers. To me, it's really just stepping into your own inner power and just becoming your true self and letting go of all of those fears that have kind of kept you stuck, and just and also like everything that's kind of kept you small, and just really shining your light, your true light, and being your true self, because the world needs your magic. And that's like the medicine for the world, is being your true self. So it's really trusting yourself to take that aligned action step by step, even if it's baby steps, but getting really deep with who you truly are and really understanding who you are at a soul level, so that you can unleash that true power so that you can serve the world. So that's kind of my definition.
I love that. So before we continue, I meant to share this with you ladies. You're the first to know about this. So this book, Unleash Her, was released October 25th, and we are today is November 3rd. So this makes a week and 2 days, right? So I asked our leader behind the scenes to share with us any updates on categories, countries. What does that look like? So our most recent update is we became bestseller in 5 countries and 28 categories, and it's only been a week and 2 days. So our countries are USA, Canada, Germany, United Kingdom, and Spain. So that tells me that what we've put into this book as co-authors and what we've put into it in collaboration-wise and what the message is spreading pretty quickly. So congratulations to all of you, because that is quite an incredible accomplishment, and not even 2 weeks of the book being released. So with that said, I'm going to shoot that same question. What does it mean to you when you're talking about unleashing her? And I want to hear from Rebecca.
Ooh, it's wonderful. So unleashing her, for me, unleashing her comes from knowing who we are, knowing who I am, and also then making choices based on that, choices to act proactively instead of falling back into reaction or feeling like an object. That I think of that as being unleashing, especially for women. And this is our audience that we're writing to. We are women. We're writing about the experiences of our lives and how we've come through them. For me, I tried to fit into the masculine sense of power for a really long time. I was a softball player. I even cut my hair super short. I had a crew cut twice in my life. I much prefer having a softer presence. But for me, I was trying to fit into this notion of power that wasn't bringing me power. It was actually weakening me even more than the weakness I felt. And I was trying to emulate this aggressive power, forward power, power lifting, strong kind of power. And as I'm learning who I am, coming through some extremely hard experiences in my life, the hardest things I've ever well, anyway, they've been so deeply touching to my heart, to kind of strip away every pretense, strip away every story that I might have ever told myself about not being powerful enough, not being strong enough, not being important enough. And they stripped me down to my core, and then I've been refilled with a new power. It's still powerlifting, but it's powerlifting others with my heart, with tenderness, with love, learning to be that person. I'm using my heart as my power. And that I didn't know that was a power. It's been beautiful. And writing in these books has helped me to get in touch with my heart and find this power. If the readers have been in a place like I was, I thought, gosh, everyone else around me is making the choices that are affecting my life, and my life and direction have to then be a reaction to their choices. Choices that were made that hurt me, choices that were made that pushed me to react in a certain way. I just looked at those as, well, then that must be who's making the choices in my life. Well, I'm making those now. It's beautiful. I'm not trying to make them over other people. I'm trying to make them with, and that will probably be a constant and continuous challenge over my entire life. Having a family, raising a family, we all are learning to work together. We all have our own personalities, but now I don't look to them and say, hey, you made that choice, now I have to live with it. We're learning together to make choices for ourselves and to help each other rise out of limiting ideas and old stories. And we're seeing a lot more beautiful things develop. I'm feeling many more beautiful things growing in my own heart and in my world. And I'm selecting this path to come forward. So that to me is unleashing her.
So my next question is going to go to Denise. Does Denise have sound? Do we have Denise?
I do. Can you hear me?
Woohoo! So my question is this. When writing this book, were you able to discover the woman that you feel you are meant to be? Was there a discovering process for you writing it?
There's always a learning and growing process in every word that I put out on paper, because it relives your own story to put in perspective the growth that I've already had and that I'm becoming. So learning, growing, and expanding is an important piece to me. So as I was writing this, I was reflecting back on the key components that allowed me to unleash myself to be able to serve other people and allow them to help others and continue that process. So it was emotional, because as you go through and you're reliving, not so much the past, but just reflecting and celebrating the growth that got you here, and that you finally had that aha moment, what it was like to feel that power, to have higher standards, have complete healthy boundaries that were respecting yourself so others respected you, it was liberating. It was really fun. So to put this all together in a chapter that reflected something that I had discovered but was value to other people, that could basically really understand a situation or maybe a past limited belief or a trauma or a childhood, that you could put that all together and say every story is not the same, but there are key components in that story that you can take out as nuggets that is going to help you and serve the good of other people.
I feel like when I was writing this book, when you spoke about like it's a part of growth, I can identify with that. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
So-
We're always growing and learning, right?
Yes, definitely. My other question is going to go to Keitha. So when you're describing the process of unleashing her, what did that mean to you?
You know, it's an ongoing process. It's absolutely, when I think about what does that look like, I couldn't agree more with what Rebecca was talking about and Denise was talking about, the process of it. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that we allowed other people to make decisions that we then had to feel like we had to own the consequences, and that, there was no choice. And that stems, I think, from very early on. It's a pattern that we learn. And somehow we think all of these choices that people make, the consequences then we'd have to deal with. And then as we go into adult women and we go into the wife role and we go into the mother role, we continue with that same pattern. For me, I didn't even realize how unhealthy I was mentally because I was allowing everyone else's decisions to become my reality and what I had to deal with it. I had to fix it. And so for me, it's almost been a cutting the cord of, so to speak, just like, okay, that is all of you and this is me. I don't have to own your consequences, nor do I have to allow things in my life that I just can't align with, because it makes me unhealthy. It makes me turn to binge eating, which is my history. I dealt with things through food. And so now I have to really, take more time to make sure that I am owning my own my responsibilities are mine, and the consequences of my actions are mine, but I don't necessarily have to take on everyone else's. So that is probably the biggest process for me, but I definitely think it is I'm still a work in progress. I would say I'm the caterpillar halfway out of the cocoon.
I love that. It's like you're always becoming. We as women are always becoming. So you each have shared, your definition in the book of what Unleash Her is, how you did it. What would you say was the hardest part about writing this book, Megan?
I think it's kind of funny because it's like I'm an intuition coach, and that's like really connecting to your truth. But for me, it was really scary to put my truth out there, for everyone to read. And so, especially like the night before this was released, I had a lot of fears coming up about what people would think, or, oh my gosh, my life stuff is going to be out there forever for anyone to read. But that's also like the step of even getting closer and deeper to your true self, because you're overcoming some of those fears, and you're kind of just pushing past that, because I knew deep down that this was meant to be and I was meant to do this. And so it's like moving past those fears and doing it anyways. And the fears are already gone about it, like it doesn't last forever. And that's part of the thing that you have to remember too, is the fears will go away. And the more that you step closer and closer and more into what your intuition is telling you, then the easier it's going to get, so I think that was the thing for me. It was like, oh man, this is a new level for myself. I'm going to a new level with my own intuition and with my truth.
I love that. What about you, Bella? What do you think was the hardest part of writing this book?
The hardest part for me was just looking back at the incident and all of the things that happened during that time. Um, just like I can just feel chills right now because I didn't take the time to look back. I didn't have time to look back. When I was fleeing my situation, it was all about looking forward. So looking back into the situation, it was very healing for me. At the same time, it was really hard because I pretty much forced myself to look back at that. But it was healing in the sense that I I heard from my mentor, which was so helpful for me because I felt like I was coming from let's see. She says you can either come from a scab or you can come from a scar.
Mm,
And as I was writing it, I felt like I was coming from a scar.
mm,
So just looking back at all of those things, I did feel a sense of guilt, which took me time to get over because it's part of, I feel like, the grieving process
mhm,
and really in true acceptance. And I'll be happy to say that through this process, it was so healing that I was able to share it with my family on both sides, my mom's side and my dad's side. My parents are passed, but I shared it with all of the family members and my immediate family, and got nothing but love and support.
mm,
And I did it in a way that I said I feel like when I was going through my process, I felt like my sister-in-laws were like super angry at me and thinking that, oh, she just wants attention or it's all about her. And I knew that wasn't the case, but I did address that in the video that I sent them. Instead of sending a letter, I sent them a video sharing about the book and my chapter. But I also shared that it wasn't about me. It wasn't about the attention or anybody feeling sorry for me. That's the last thing that I wanted. But I feel now that I'm in a good place that I can share this from the scar. And I call it like an empowered place. So it felt really good to do it. And in that whole process, it's not only helping the people who are in or can resonate with my situation, but also for those who were the bystanders who didn't know what to do.
mhm,
So that is something that I'm really excited about because now the bystanders who didn't know what to do, or maybe they thought they were helping, maybe they could be enlightened in the sense of, they just need to be there and be there in a loving, supportive way. Sometimes there's nothing that they may think that they need to say something, but they don't. They just need to be available, supportive, and loving. And sometimes that's all we need. So anyhow, yeah, it was very healing. And it's a huge part of my growth in how I can step into myself and where I'm at because I didn't have a chance to measure where I am and how far I've come. So yeah, it's a beautiful experience. I'm so happy to be here with all of the beautiful co-authors as well. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for sharing, both of you. I would say, writing this book for me was one of the most difficult chapters I've written so far. I shared something that I've never shared anywhere except with immediate family. And I wasn't afraid to tell what happened. I was afraid of how I would feel the feelings again and ripping off the band aid and hoping or wondering, would the scar close again? Or would this open up something else? Would I be re traumatized? And it was very hard. I avoided writing the chapter for quite a while because of that. And it took a lot of reading other people's chapters in the book, yours, to say, okay, you know what? These ladies are doing this. I can do this too. And after you get past that, that barrier that a lot of us don't want to cross because we don't know what's on the other side felt more freedom. And I actually wrote things that I had kept internally. And once I released it, it was a different type of, and that was part of my unleashing process, was unleashing the shame that I was feeling, the fear, the hurt, and wondering if I would ever, and I'm not going to say too much more about my chapter in particular, because I want people to read it and I want them to read the book and all the chapters in the book. But it was definitely a place of, if you continue to drive in your car and pick up luggage and you never unload the luggage, the next thing you know, you have no more space. And that's kind of what I felt like I did, is I never gave myself the time to process what actually happened. So I'll leave that there for my unleashing. And my next question is going to go to Denise. And my question to you, Denise, is, now that you have written this book, you're this international bestseller, what is on the radar for you for Unleashing Denise in 2023?
Continuing this fabulous journey with She Rise community and being a member of the Unstoppable Women's Movement book series. When I was asked to write this particular one, I had already been a self-publishing author, but this was a way, because collaboration is such a key component into playing bigger, into being bigger, into continuously unleashing yourself. And it just so happened that your next book fell into the category that I coach on too. And it is helping high achieving women basically use their, productivity and momentum with elegance, and using their brilliance to have that fun, freedom, and financial wealth. And that is just playing bigger. And that's one of the next books. So I'll be a part of that, and I'm honored to be a part of that. And then continuing on with some of the other things that you have in store, because I was asked for the third one. So looks like I'm going to hit a trifecta. That's how I'm going to unleash you.
That's awesome. So you are a coach. Give me a little bit of insight as to your ideal client.
So my ideal client is a high achieving, high performing woman who has been in either an entrepreneurial world or a corporate setting, or have established themselves, pretty well financially. And they just get to that point in their life and they're like, I'm complacent. Like, I know there's so much more in me. There's so much more, but I don't know what it is. I don't know how to get there. And this is, they're settling. And this, just being complacent, is almost more irritating than achieving the highest next level, because in every level that we achieve in our life, there is some, setbacks, and there's some fear that goes along with it. And there's some things that we need to work on. But that scarcity of just staying complacent is almost unbearable. Like, that you haven't lived out your true potential, because only 3% of women do. They only, 3% of women live out to their highest potential. Some of them don't even know what it is. And half the time, some of these women going after that high achieving position, or maybe big dream that they've just never thought was possible, it's amazing to see that some of them think it's one thing, and when you really get into, boy, there's a whole different perspective that comes out, and a gift that they didn't even know. And when they find it, it just lights their soul on fire.
I love that. You just talked about another way of unleashing.
Yeah, it is almost like, I feel like when I coach people, it's just so magnetic for me too, because I feel like this owl that like sees 360, and it's just so exciting to just watch them light up. It's almost like the light switch went on, and they didn't even know they had it. And they're like, that's why I've been holding back. That's why I've been stuck. I've been in my own damn way this whole time. I had this mask up that I didn't even know I had. And it's liberating, it's freeing, it's fun. And our pain brings us that pleasure, right?
Mhm.
And think about, what is it that we all want, the end result that we want in life? It's a feeling. Anything that we do is a feeling. So put that pleasure back into your life. Really, find out what your gift is and just go all in.
Well, thank you for sharing. What about you, Keitha? What is on the radar for you in 2023?
I have a lot. I am also in a second book with She Rise Studios. And I'm super excited about becoming a part of the Becoming Unstoppable Woman series. So that's huge for me. I'm going to be releasing some courses in 2023, and then just continue to work with my weight loss clients.
Can you tell me who is your ideal client?
Yeah, I think my ideal client really is anyone who needs to lose weight. However, I've really taken it down to women because I think that's who I can serve best. And I also think I can serve women that are between 45 and 65. I understand where they are. And so there are so many women out there in that age range that need help. And so I feel like everybody needs to find their own place. And so when you find that spot that you can really help, then that's what you really stay where you need to be. Because I think there is somebody for everybody. And there's definitely enough clients around that everyone needs to find who can work with them best. So I would say my ideal client is a woman between the ages of 45 and 60, has been battling her weight for a long time, and is just ready to try one more time.
I love that. I am in that age group, and I can tell you, honestly, that we need you. So I noticed that you put out a challenge in the last year or two, asking for women who are looking to lose 15 pounds.
Yes, and I was very excited to see some of those people.
Yeah. So if you can put in the comments where to find you and what that's about, Denise, if you can share in the comments where to find you. My next question is going to go to Megan. Megan, what do we get to look forward to from you in 2023?
Yes, I feel like so much because I have actually recently left my full-time job as a school counselor. I was in the education system for about 10 years. So I've only been in my business as an intuition coach full-time for a couple of months. So I'm really hoping to grow my business even more. And actually a big goal of mine that I was actually trying to plan today is to host my first spiritual retreat in Sedona, Arizona. So I'm really excited about that. And then really just like hosting more online group coaching programs. I do have one that's pretty consistent, but I'm going to be creating more. So just a lot more programs and classes, online classes, and then the retreats are going to be big for me.
So in terms of your client, who are you looking for? Who do you feel you can help unleash?
Yeah, absolutely. Really, it's a woman that feels that they're meant for more in this life, and they really want to trust themselves more at a deeper level and to really like heal at the deepest levels too. So I'm an energy healer as well. And so I do a lot of different things. I'm a breathwork facilitator too. So a lot of that is really, really deep healing. And so it's like somebody that knows that they want to overcome those barriers that are just kind of keeping them stuck and move past that so that they can really connect to their purpose. And because they know that they're here for more. And so a lot of times it's like women that want to get out of their 9-to-5 and create their own business, or even business owners that want to increase their business and step into their intuition more and bring intuition into their business. So those are kind of the women that I love to work with the most.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Can you please put in the comments where they can find you?
Absolutely.
Miss Bella, what is going to happen with you in 2023? What do we get to look forward to?
Wow. More books. I am so fired up about that and just looking forward to getting better each day, getting myself out there, following my mantra of being seen and being heard and being limitless. And similar to Megan, I've really fallen into following intuition. I am a recovered, I would say recovered and not recovering codependent. And now I'm living my life through really my intuition and learning more about personality because I feel like we all have like our own personality, our own pace, our own pleasures, and really working towards helping women understand that they can design a life of just pure bliss. And so I am that's one of my lifelong goals is because I lived in a homeless shelter. I saw how women live, and then it's just a cycle. And with the children in the homeless shelter, it's a cycle. So when it stops with the mama and I'm able to help her, whether she has children or not, to really feel what it feels like to do the things that she wants to do, that she enjoys, to discover life and to see how exciting it is to work by her own design. That's really what I get excited about. And so basically, I just guide her through to all of her passions and really lift the vibration. Because I really feel like when we're in a higher vibration, that's where all the manifestations happen. And when we're in gratitude, that's where everything just is at our fingertips. That's when we can really be limitless. So, for women who are wanting that, are ready and willing and able, those are my people. And for those who are divorced, especially with no children, that's my niche. I'm able to help them truly live their own life by design because then she could live on her own passions, not her sisters, not her mother's, not her, whoever's, not in the past from her ex or all the people that hurt her, but all the people are going to lift her up. And she magnetizes that by being that person herself. So I work a lot with self identity and personality. And right now, I am offering a personality blueprint for anybody who wants to learn their personality, especially around the holidays, because I think what happens is what Denise says, people settle. People settle and they compromise themselves, their boundaries, their essence for other people. And what I do is I help them fall in love with who they really are, with their and step into their potential, their gifts, their talents, and be able to have healthy boundaries that they feel comfortable with and express that clearly for other people to know how they can communicate with them. And in that sense, they have a deeper connection with themselves and then also with other people.
Beautiful. What about you, Rebecca? What is on the radar for you for 2023?
2023. First, I want to say the hardest thing about writing was actually fitting everything I wanted to say into 1,500 words. So, but 2023, my goals are personally speak out, trust, and connect more. And also smile as much as possible, and remembering how loved I am. Our family has plans to travel, and pretty much our family is my work on so many levels. It's how we earn, but it's also my personal work. And so our plans are to travel. Our goal is to take my books around the country. I'm hopeful to meet up with lots of the authors in all these books and their unique locations. That's part of my husband's like pre-retirement I think, for many men, when they retire, they think they're going to die. So we don't talk about retirement, but we want to take him around the country. That's his goal. And I'm excited to join him in it. We want to tell our stories. I'd love to be signing books around the country, meeting lots of new friends, and also sharing our healing work. Our healing work is very portable. My husband's supremely gifted, and I love to be a poster child for what his work can do. And so that's our goal for 2023, my personal goal, and as a family business as well.
So for you ladies, right now on our panel, you could actually host your own retreat and you would pretty much cover most aspects of life between all of you. And so when you're talking about, unleashing what's coming for 2023, do you feel that we need to wait until 2023, or is this something that we should all be focusing on right now? I feel like it's right now. I'm not a big, huge fanatic on New Year's resolutions. I know people like to wind down and then gear up. I like to just stay geared up. But that's me personally. But I'm kind of curious to hear from Keitha. What do you think?
Did you see me like going, unmute, let me have this one, let me have this one. This is where I get all fired up. So absolutely, this is the time to start thinking about those goals. I've been challenging my clients and been posting a lot in my private groups and talking about it on the podcast. Like, we've really got to evaluate. I used to sit down on New Year's Eve and make a list of these resolutions. And then I would live or die by them. By these fly by the seat of your pants kind of list. And then if I would check them off one by one. But now what I've learned is that if you really sit and evaluate where you are, what you've done, and really celebrate how much you've accomplished already this year, and take some time to really think about those goals. Don't do them just haphazardly. I think we always have to have goals. And I think those goals need to be evaluated monthly, quarterly, and annually, and celebrate them at the same time. And so absolutely right now, I am encouraging people in my world. I want to see them get to their goals before New Year's Eve. I want them to be able to put on the dress that they want to wear at the New Year's Eve party and feel like a rock star. I want them to be able to put on their favorite, jeans and say, hey, I look good tonight. I'm going out and I'm going to celebrate 2023 at my best self. There's nothing worse than going into the new year with this heaviness of, I've got to make a change. We have, 2 months that we can really look and see where we've been and what do we need to finish up. So anyway, it's good stuff. And I did want to add, Rebecca added something. I wanted to add something about the fear when Megan said earlier about how the fear goes away. Could somebody tell me when that happens? Because I had it right before this. So I'm still having it every day. The fear of writing this book was a lot. I mean, and being a part of it. And I think that also goes back to what we talked about having that mindset of where do we belong and do we belong? What arenas do we belong in? And it was really difficult for me to step into this arena with you amazing women. And so anyway, I would just like to know, at what point does the fear disappear? I think you're right, Denise. It doesn't.
It doesn't. Fear, it's like somebody just said the fear is the rocket fuel. And it is, because every time you face a new fear, you're like, okay, I got this, next. And then you just keep going, and I don't want to say you become an adrenaline junkie, because that's not what it is. But every time you face a fear, every time you do something, every time you step out of your comfort zone, you are growing, you are stretching. But always remember this: celebrate it. Bask in the moment of what you just did, what you just came through, and celebrate yourself, because that is a part of unleashing too. So feel the fear, go through the fear, face the fear, celebrate the fear, and just keep going, because that's all a part of the process. And then it becomes your passion. It becomes That's when you start to just feel so natural about everything that you do. Nothing comes forced because you know what you're sharing is so incredible that nobody's going to say, "Oh, I don't want to know that. I don't want to learn that. I don't want to read that." They're addicted to your fearlessness. So it all kind of comes full circle. It's intense. So I'd say you're good where you are right now.
Well,
That's
that's
just
good to
my
hear.
little perspective.
That's
So,
good to know.
well, thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you joining me today for this panel discussion. Please leave where our audience can find you, where our readers and future readers can find you. Do not be shy. For those who are watching, those who catch the replay, please grab this book. It is called Unleash Her. It is currently on Amazon and will be inside Barnes and Noble stores in about another week or two. You can get it delivered, or you can actually go to the authors' pages themselves. They all have a way for you to order the book. So keep in touch with these ladies. You know, She Rises Studios is all about collaboration. It's a platform for women to be able to express their voices, their stories, be seen, be heard. And we will be back next week with some more co-authors of Unleash Her talking about a few different topics. So I'm really excited. I think we're going to hit more categories. Well, I don't think I know. We're going to hit more categories. We're going to continue to grow this book in other countries. It's taking off. The book link is in the notes here, and it's just a bunch of exciting stuff. None of these lives and panel discussions we do are scripted. We're all human beings. We all it's like what you see is what you get. So what you read is truth. It's integrity, and that is what makes these books so easy to get out to the audience. This is what women need. So thank you, all of you, for joining today. It was great to see all your beautiful faces, and I want to invite everyone to come back next week, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, for our next panel. And again, ladies, don't forget to leave your info. If there's anything you want to say before we close, I'll give each one of you 30 seconds to go around.
Okay, I'll start. Never shy, right? Just go all in. So I wanted to elaborate on the last question that you asked, and I just wanted to put it out there as what's the advantage of waiting? You know, we don't need another goal or another year. We just need another moment that's going to change our lives forever, right? We really do. And to embrace that, because what is it costing you, right? So for all of those wonderful viewers that are watching this, and we're on this amazing panel, and this is just only a portion of all the amazing women in the book. So I highly recommend everybody to not only check out the book, but check out every individual author. They have amazing gifts and value to add to everyone. And I'm so honored to be just a part of it, because we are not only helping ourselves, but we're helping other people too. So I put my information in the comments. So if anybody is looking for an immediate breakthrough session with me, I'd love to have a discussion that matters. And my motto is stop waiting for the light at the end of the tunnel and light that bitch yourself.
Woo! That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
I'd like to just say that joy is our birthright. And I'm 53, and there was a point in my life where it's just blank. I don't remember. I was married for 20 years, and my whole 30s is just a blank. And don't wait. Don't wait. We have amazing women, and read the book and share it with others as well. Because if there's something that's there that really sparks you, or you'd like to work with any one of us, it's worth it. It's worth it. You're worth it. And so, as I said, that was my hope, that joy is my birthright because I gave up on happiness in my life. And here I am today, just full of joy with all of you here. And for all of the listeners, you're worth it. You're meant for joy, and you're worth joy. So don't settle, and don't wait for the time that you can just step into your beauty and your power and feel that inside. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I just wanted to say really quick that just to anyone that's listening, how can you deepen your trust with yourself a little bit more? Just even a little bit more. Because like in my chapter, I said, I believe self-love is like the foundation for everything. And when you have that, you can just do anything. And that's usually what a lot of us are really working towards anyway. So just think to yourself, like, how can you trust yourself even just a little bit more? What decision do you need to make that you're kind of putting off or stuck in limbo? And I always tell people, just decide, just make the decision and go with it. You're going to learn from that no matter what the decision was. So trust yourself a little bit more, and you've got this.
Love it. Thank you.
I think I would just like to thank everybody again for all your support. I mean, we have gotten so much support from one another, but also from readers and from She Rises. And, you know, in our own private communities, we've just gotten so much love and support. And I just wanted to say how thankful and grateful I've been to this process. Has been it's not been easy the whole time. It's challenging. And it's challenging for us, that a lot of us, that this is our first time here. And so we just really appreciate the love. And then again, I would just challenge you to think about what you're going to do over the next 6 weeks, before when the holidays are coming. And, one of the things that we talked about earlier was, that about healthy boundaries. This is a time of year that all of us are challenged with healthy boundaries, because we have to deal with a lot. We've got financials and family issues and gatherings and, parties and things like that really, like, sometimes we don't want to do. And so taking some time to work on what you want that season to look like for you, and celebrate it the way you want to celebrate it. Make sure that your Christmas is what you want your Christmas to be, how you want to celebrate it, and not make it about what everybody else's priorities are. So anyway, I just want to say thank you.
I love that. Unleash grace for yourself during this holiday season. That's what I would say. What about you, Rebecca?
Last little word here for me, focusing on being grateful for the good things now and all the good to come. That's where my heart is, and that's where I'd recommend any focus we can put on that gratitude now, especially going into November, Thanksgiving. So being very grateful.
Well, as I said earlier, an amazing panel of women. Thank you so much, ladies, for being with me for this hour. I'm so glad we got to talk. For those of you who are watching and watching the replay, grab the book and join us in what it means to unleash the feminine power. My name is Hannah Olivas, and I am from She Rises Studios. Thank you, ladies, so much. Have a fantastic evening. Bye, everyone.